quickly look at managing users and groups in Linux. So if you have not downloaded your labs user.pem, just come to show, download it. So if you've been with me with the previous sessions, you know this kind of like a routine. You download your .pem, then you copy the public IP. I have downloaded my .pem already. That is if you are using get bash and Linux, but you download ppk if you are using what's it called, Party on Windows, right? So pretty much what we'll be doing from the labs is we are going to be creating users for this table using the user ID. So we'll create users for all of them. Then we'll come to starting password to create users and passwords. Then when we are done, we'll also create groups. Okay, we'll create groups for sales, HR, finance, personal, CEO. And then when we are done, we will add them from this table. We'll add the users to the groups. Then pretty much we'll try to log in into a new user and we'll be done. So let's get right started. Yes, so the first thing we have to do is that we have to cd into downloads, change directory into downloads, and then we change the permission of the labs user.pem to make it only readable, not executable or writable. So to do that, you do chmod cmod 400, then labs user.pem, and then it changes the permission for you. When you are done, you can just ssh-i labs user.pem and then ec2-user at, then we paste then we'll paste the public IP we picked. So yes, and this should work. Enter. Warning, this is not using a post quantum exchange, blah blah blah. So what do I do? Great, so we are in, right? Voila. So let me clear the screen, and the first thing we have to do is that, remember what we are doing, we are adding users, right? We are adding users here. So we'll add Arozales, Iowusu, and all the others, right? Great, so let's just do this. So you know this is the users we are adding, so follow along. Okay, so the way we add users is that we do user add, right? Then the name of the user, Arozales, right? We press enter. So we don't have permission, so we can use sudo to do that, you know. So sudo user add Arozales Sales. This should work. Then we'll add password, sudo password Arozales, and I'll just want to copy the password we have here so that I'll not keep repeating it, okay, because it's the same password for all of them for the purpose of this labs or tutorials. Okay, so when you press enter, they will ask you for your password, then we'll paste it. Note that it will not show, but it's working actually. I've pasted it, but it's not showing. That's a function of Linux. So when you press enter, they will ask you to repeat it again, and this is going to be quite routine. Okay, so I'll be doing that for all of them. I'm done with Arozales, so stick around. You can also follow along with it, but you know. So sudo user add, the next person is Iowusu, right? Then we press enter, then sudo password. Note that password, you don't add the word, the full one, ORD. We just do PASSWD, then EOWUSU, then I think, okay, sudo password. I didn't spell sudo well. EOWUSU, all good. Then we'll paste the password. Great. We enter. We are done. Then we'll move on to the next person, who is Jado. Right, the next person is Jado. So sudo user add Jado, right? Sudo password Jado, right? Then we paste. Quite routine. Enter. We paste. Enter. The next person is Ij1. I don't know if I pronounce it well, but yeah. Sudo user add I think it's capital I Juan. You press enter. Sudo password I1. You paste. Enter. Paste. Enter. The next person is M major. Sudo user add M major, right? Sudo password M major, right? Then we paste. The next person is M Jackson. We paste. Sudo, right? Sudo user add M Jackson, right? Enter. Sudo password M Jackson, and then we paste. Enter. We paste. Enter. The next person is NWolf. Sudo user add NWolf. Enter. Sudo password NWolf. Enter. Paste. Enter. Paste. Enter. The next person is P Santos. So sudo user add P Santos. Paste. Sudo password P Santos. Paste. Enter. The next person is S Martinez. Enter. The next person is S Martinez. Enter. So sudo S Martinez. Okay. So the next person is S Martinez. So sudo user add S Martinez. Sudo password S Martinez, right? We paste. Enter. We paste. Enter. And then the last person is S Saka. Sudo user add S Saka. Enter. Sudo password S Saka. Enter. Paste. Enter. Paste. Enter. then essentially we are done. And then the next thing we have to do is to be sure that all what we have done is there. So to validate that these users have been created, okay, we from the labs a minute we will have to use this command. So we sudo cat etc/password, and then we pipe cat-d-f1, enter, and then it should pull out all the names, okay, to validate that users have been created. You do this and then it will pull out all of it for you. So by doing this, it will pull out all of that for us, right? Okay, so sudo cat etc, let me try it again, etc /password pipe, right, cat-d, right, then this, then -f1, and it should let us know all at yes. So you see Zacharias, Martinez, and Major up to EC2, they are all created. So it tells us that we've created our users, right? Now let's clear the screen, Control L. The next thing we'll be doing is that we are creating groups, right? So we want to create groups for sales, HR, finance, personnel, CEO, shipping, and managers. Are we good? Yes. So after that, we confirm that indeed we have created the groups. Okay, when we are done, then we'll add the users to the groups, right? So quickly from here, we are creating sales, HR, finance, and what have you, right? So the way we created the what do you call it, the users with sudo user add with the groups, you are going to do sudo group add, right? So sudo group add, then the name of the group, I think, yes. So let's be sure of the spelling. All has capital leading, right? So let me see. Okay, so they all have capital leading. So sudo group add sales, you press enter, then sudo group add HR, you press enter, sudo group add, what's the other group? We have finance, you press enter, sudo group add, we have personnel, sudo group add, we have CEO, sudo group add, and we have shipping, and then I think the last one is manager, sudo group add managers, right? And when you press enter, let's see, cat/etc/group right, so minus d this minus f1, right? Does that work? Okay, so let me try sudo cat etc slash group, right, minus d, right, dash f1. Probably this should work, but give me a minute, let me verify. Okay, so just the cat group works, but I want to try the previous one we used and see if it works. So okay, it had a pipe, so let's pipe it, because that looked easier, you know. So you pipe it here, then you give it a cut, right, then dash d f1. So let's try that and see if it works. Other than that, we know. Great. So we also have managers, shipping, and all what have you here created, right? So the next thing we are going to do, let's clear our screen. Okay, but before that, the next thing we are going to do is that we are going to add users to the groups. So from this diagram, we are supposed to add Arozales to sales, Iowusu, and all of those stuff, right? So let's clear our screen. Control L to clear your screen. Then we do sudo user mod to add the user to groups. Okay, dash a dash capital G, and then we are adding Arozales to which group? To sales. I hope I got it right. I hope I got it right. Let me verify. Yes. Yes, the group name, then the user ID. So we are doing adding Arozales to sales, right, then Arozales comes here. That's how it works, right? So Arozales. So sudo user mod group, the group name sales, and then the user ID Arozales, and this should work. The next person we are adding is nwolf to sales. So sudo user mod dash a dash g. We're adding our nwolf to sales, right? So when you press enter, it should work, right? And then the next person is shipping, Iowusu. So sudo user mod dash a dash g to shipping, right? And who are we adding to shipping? Iowusu. Press enter, it should work. Sudo user mod. The next person is Jdo. Sudo user mod dash a dash g to shipping. Who are we adding? We're adding Jdo, and we press enter. This should work. Then we do sudo user mod dash a dash g to shipping. Who are we adding next? P Santos, and when we press enter, that should, oh, I made a mistake. Okay, I didn't bring the dash g, sorry. So let's do it again. Sudo user mod dash a dash g to shipping. Who are we adding? P Santos, and it works. So let me just clear my screen. The next person is HR. We are adding IH1 and S Martinez to HR. So sudo user mod dash a dash g to where? HR, and who? We are adding IH1 to HR, and this should work. The next person we are adding to HR, sudo user mod dash a dash g to HR is S Martinez, right? And then the next one is managers. So we are adding managers. We are adding Arozales to a manager and IH1 and major to managers. So sudo user mod dash a dash g managers, right? Who are we adding? We are adding Arozales Rosales, right? Sudo, next person is ig1, sudo user mod dash a dash g managers. Who are we adding? We are adding ig1, right? The next, I think I made a mistake. ig1, so sudo user mod. Okay, so there was no space between the a, so I think typing fast caused this. So sudo user mod dash a dash g dash g, okay, to managers who ig1, and this should work. Let's clear our screen. Sudo user mod dash a dash g to managers, and who are we adding? M major, right? And then the next one we are adding is finance. We are adding M major and S Saka to finance. So sudo user mod dash a dash g managers, finance finance, finance, and then who are we adding? We're adding M major to finance, right? And then sudo lastly user mod, lastly for finance dash a dash g finance. We are adding S Saka to finance, right? And then under CO we are adding Jackson to CO. So quickly let's add Jackson. Sudo user, right, user mod dash a dash g CEO, right, M Jackson, and this should work. Now if we cut /etc/group, right, now we should see that under managers we have our Rosales, ig1 and M major, right? Under shipping we have Iyowusu, Jedo and P Santos. Under CO we have M Jackson, right? We don't have anything under personal. Under finance we have M major and S Saka. Under HR we have ig1 and S Martinez. Under sales we have Rosales and N Wolf, right? So that's just that. And I think that we are supposed to add EC2 users to all of them from the from our what do you call it, from our labs, right? So how do you add EC2 user to all of them? So we just do sudo user mod to what, to managers. Who are we adding? EC2 dash user. You press enter. Okay, user mod spelled wrongly, double D, right? So let's correct it. So sudo user mod dash a dash g, I forgot even those ones, managers EC2 dash user, and this should work, right? The next user sudo user mod dash a dash g. The next one we are adding to is shipping, right? EC2 dash user, this should work. The next one we are adding to sudo user mod dash a dash g is CEO EC2 dash user, right? This should work. Sudo user mod dash a dash g. The next person we're adding to is personnel, right? Personnel EC2 dash user, this should work. The next one we are writing to is finance, so sudo user mod dash a dash dash g finance EC2 dash user, this should work. The next one we are writing to is hr, so sudo user mod dash a dash g hr ec2 dash user. This should work. And then I think the last person we are writing to is sales, so sudo user mod dash a dash g sales ec2 dash user, and this should work. So now when we do sudo cat /etc/group, right, we should see ec2 user, 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 all through the groups you've created, right? Yes. So the next thing we have to do is we want to log into a new user. So let's say we want to log into Arozales. I'm just going to copy our password so that I don't forget, which is this one, password 123, right? Because you need that to log into that user. If you don't have that the user's password, you cannot log into the user's account, right? So let's clear our screen. So if we want to log into another user, we do su, right? Su Arozales, for example. If we want to log into Arozales, when we press enter, they will ask us for the password. Remember, it won't show, but it works. And if we do p, you can see that we are in Arozales now, this user. But then if you do pwd, it will tell you that you are in the home/ec2, but then in that you are in Arozales's account, right? When you ls, I don't think there's pretty much anything. I don't even have permission. Okay, so let me sudo ls, if that is even a thing. You have, we trust you received a blah blah blah. So let me paste the password again. Okay, try again. So it's a restricted environment, so to speak. Try again. So let me try manually. So pass s, sorry, let me start again. p s s w o r d 1 2 3 4 exclamation. Arozales is not a sudoa. Okay, so that's fine. So let's say we are sudoing into eowusu, and when we paste it here and press enter,